Attention, attention, attention. Stand by for an emergency announcement. Semi-apocalyptic greetings to you, friends and comrades. This is your comrade communicator, coming to you from a well-stocked bunker in an undisclosed location. I have been kept from your screens by the nefarious, anti-disclosure deep state gang-stalking nexus for, well, over a year now. But that is a topic that I plan on returning to on a later date. Today's program is an emergency announcement. First and foremost, let it be known that the Intergalactic Workers League Central Committee has granted Comrade High Commander extraordinary emergency powers. Seeing as how we Posadists are most certainly best suited to lead under apocalyptic and semi-apocalyptic conditions, he is now assuming supreme command over the entire North American left, and we thank you in advance for your cooperation. Stand by as I read Comrade High Commander's first all-continental diktat. The nuclear war is a maximal crisis, and is therefore conducive to the accomplishment of the maximum program of the communists. The Capitalocene mass extinction event is an unfolding crisis that will become maximal in the medium term. The current global pandemic, however, lacks either the depth or persistent catastrophic impact of either the world atomic or climate crises. Which is to say that COVID-19 can be said to be a transitional crisis, which demands its own transitional program. It is now the task of every communist to advance this transitional program and to use it as a tool to rally the proletariat to our cause. The transitional program prepares the proletariat for the maximum program, just as the semi-apocalyptic conditions of the transitional crisis are preparing us for the apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic conditions of the maximal crisis. Our COVID-19 transitional program is neither the work of a singular theoretical genius, nor of a crack committee of dialecticians. It is nothing more and nothing less than the collective will of the working classes. We have heard the transitional program spoken in the streets, and we have seen it emblazoned on banners hung from apartment windows. We have already seen some of it legislated, albeit in a limited and temporary manner. If authorship is to be assigned at all, then our transitional program's authors are the very extraordinary material conditions that have lately arisen in the wake of the new plague. Point 1. Free healthcare for all, today, to prevent mass death from the plague, and free healthcare for all after the pandemic is defeated in order to prevent mass death from preventable disease. Point 2. Suspension of all inessential work, immediate relief for all of the unemployed, that's all of the unemployed, and hazard pay for essential workers. Once the crisis has passed, we must make sure that neither the bourgeoisie nor the essential workers themselves ever forget just how much society depends on the labor of store clerks, warehouse workers, drivers, home delivery workers, nurses, and medical techs. Nor must the state's tacit admission of the woeful inadequacy of peacetime unemployment benefits ever be forgotten. Point 3. Suspension of all rent, mortgage payments, debt collection, and eviction, today, tomorrow, and forever. Point 4. Seize unused housing for the homeless as an emergency health measure today, and fight to make it permanent tomorrow because homelessness is in and of itself a massive health crisis. Point 5. Empty the prisons and jails, and keep them empty. Point 6. Institute price controls and rationing on goods that become scarce due to hoarding. Point 7. Make a state ownership stake a prerequisite to any future government bailouts of private firms. If it is too big to fail, then it's too big to be a private firm. What was deemed to be politically inconceivable by the ruling class yesterday is today acknowledged as utterly necessary, albeit as a temporary measure. This is the crux of what makes this crisis a transitional crisis. It now falls to communist militants to organize our class, to struggle, to expand upon these gains, and to hold onto them for the long term. Working people need such measures to survive the crisis that is capitalism itself, no less than we need them to survive this pandemic. And we must never let our fellow workers forget that capitalism itself is the crisis. Long live Posadas! Long live Comrade High Commander!